Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it may be, math friends. This is Mr. McCarthy and coming at you today with lesson 2.5, the first day of it, which is dividing by tens, hundreds, or thousands. By the time we're done with this couple days, you should be able to divide numbers by 10, 100, or 1,000 using patterns. You should be able to divide numbers up to 4 digits by multiples of 10, 100, or 1,000. And you should be able to use rounding and related facts to estimate quotients. Once again, we're going to be looking for some patterns here today, and hopefully you pick up on that fairly rapidly. All right. So look for patterns as I move my lovely face. Oh, try to move my lovely face here when you're dividing by 10. Get out of the way, McCarthy. There we go. Much better. Okay. 70 divided by 10 is 7. 160 divided by 10 is 16. 1,800 divided by 10 is 180. Some of you might notice is that each time you divide a number by 10, you can effectively lop off a 0 from the end of the number you're dividing by. Pretty neat, huh? Now, looking at the place value chart, we did this for multiplication. When we multiplied by 10, we moved all of our place value chips one space to the left or one space larger. When we're dividing by 10, all we're doing is taking all our chips and moving them one space to the right or one space smaller. So instead of having 7 tens, when you divide 70 by 10, you've now got 7 ones. Instead of having 106 tens, when you divide 160 by 10, you have a single 10 and then 6 ones. And then same thing over here, this 1,000 slides over one spot, and this 800 slides over one spot. When you divide each number by 10, you're essentially sliding your place value chips over a spot. You're essentially sliding, knocking a 0 off, and you'll discover that that relates to the movement of the decimal as well. And maybe some of you are already thinking about that. Now, this is just the same thing we looked at before, except instead of place value chips, it's just got digits. Okay, and what I kind of even want you to see is when I did 70 divided by 10, this is really where the decimal's at. It's coming over one spot, and you get 7. 160 divided by 10, your decimal's there. Bringing it over one spot, you've got 16. And 1,800, yes, I'm going to write on your face. That's my arrow. You move that decimal over one spot, and you get 180. So you're moving your place value chips, you're moving your digits, you're moving your decimal. It's kind of all the same idea. Alrighty. And let's move on. Gotta keep these fast. You guys are important people with important stuff to do. Holy smokers, take a look at this guided learning page. Hopefully you should be able to work through it swiftly. Notice that the bottom ones, when you find the missing numbers, those are really just multiplication problems. I'm going to pause. You're going to pause. We're all going to do our thing and then come back and compare. Pause now. All right, how do we do? I had part of my screen covering up the work I wanted to do. This is going to be 16,800. Okay. Notice, too, as I moved myself a while back there, this young lady with this wonderful tip says, just drop the 0, man. And that's all you got to do is just drop the 0. And again, I want you to realize, too, that dropping that 0 is, in effect, moving your decimal over one place to the left. If you can start wrapping your head around that idea of moving the decimal, it's going to get super simple once you start dividing by numbers that don't end in 0. That's my little pro tip for the day. Clear that? Okay. Look at this guy here. He's breaking apart a number. Instead of doing 60 divided by 30, he's kind of breaking the 30 up into 3 times 10 and doing 60 divided by 10 divided by 3, or 6 divided by 3 equals 2. Then down here he's doing 420 divided by 10, because 70 is 10 times 7 divided by 7. Okay, and as we're looking for patterns, what I want you to see is when you're doing dividing, much like when you multiply the numbers, then you add however many zeros there were. In this case, if you're dividing by a 0, you can cross out a 0. If you're dividing by a 0, and you can cross out a 0, and then that's what you end up with is the stuff on the next line. Okay. If you have say like this, then I've got a 0 here and a 0 here. They cross out in pairs. Then you do 42 divided by 7 is 6. And then since this 0 didn't get crossed out, you got to keep it. Don't make fun of my arrows. They're having a rough day today. All right, moving on. Kaboop, kaboop. All right. I want you to, when you do this one, come back and refer to these examples and solve these, or you could do it my way as well. All right. Giddy up and go. I'm going to pause. You're going to pause. All right. Just because I'm feeling kooky, I'm going to actually walk through these because why not? So they did 850 divided by 10 first, which is 85. You divide 85 by 5, and you get 17 for this bad mamma jamma. Here they're doing 7,200 divided by 80, 7,200 divided by 10, divided by 8. And I can even do my little zero crossing trick there. 720 divided by 1 is 720. And if I do 72 divided by 8, I get 9. And then I just keep that 0. And I get 90. Or I do the McCarthy trick. Cross out 1, cross out 1. 72 divided by 8 is 9. I got to keep this 0. Bring it there, and I get 90. So here's how I like to do it. 4, 14. Oh, I gotta do this in my head. 632 is 316, right? And then only 1 and 1. So 840 divided by 6. 6 goes into 84. Well, 84 is made up of 60 and 24. And there's 10 sixes there. And there's 4 sixes there. So 6 goes into 84 14 times. And then I keep that 0. Oh, a little division trick you learned there. Lucky, 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 ducky, ducky, duckies. Alrighty. Hey, look at that. Oh, I better clean up the screen. Most of your teachers will assign something like this. Homework pages 47 through 49. This is most likely the IXL lesson that goes along with this task. As always, double check with your homeroom teacher for what the exact homework is, because it could differ from this. And double check your teacher should have these IXL lessons highlighted. And if not, you can always go into IXL skill plans and find the lessons that coordinate with this lesson exactly. All right, this is Mr. M signing off from now. I'll see you for part 2 mañana. Later, taters.